1960s. Today, I had a wild idea that we'd go skydiving. How are you feeling, mate?
You had an epiphany, didn't you?
I had an epiphany. So we are here. We've not told anyone we're doing skydiving. 14,000 feet. Scared stiffless, but it's going to be amazing. So let's go and do it.
Boys, how are we today?
We are good. A bit nervous.
What's going on? What are these outfits for?
Oh, we're going to go skydiving today.
Whose idea was that?
This is my idea.
Any reason for it? You thought, why not? Something you want to do?
Spontaneous, wild idea. Got to be done.
No, awesome. Just an FYI. He's to blame? Oh, how high are we going today, guys?
What?
How high are we going?
14,000 feet.
All the way to the top floor? About 200 k's an hour, bro. 60 seconds free fall. Feel good?
Wait, yeah. What's that in miles per hour?
At about 140.
Oh my days. Yeah, it's going to be...
Feel good? Nervous? Excited? All of the above?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, man. Let's see out there. Have some fun, eh?
Let's do it.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me. So alive, make it last forever. Stop in time, yeah, I'm surrendering. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight.
Alright, let me talk you through the skydive. Alright, so a few days before, I had an idea, had a wild idea, and I said to Josh, my mate, I was like, got a bit of a wild idea. And we were in the gym at the time, and I was like, why don't we just go skydiving? Be a cool thing to do, be a great experience. Here's me not really thinking about like the fear side of it. I just thought, you know what, it's a bucket list thing, I've always wanted to do it. Let's just go and do it. And then I think it was a couple days later we started to actually book it. You know, you start paying for it, you get the confirmation. For me, that's when the nerves really start, because I'm like, geez, I'm doing this in 2 days time. It's going to be wild. And I was kind of just reliving the moment of like potentially jumping out the plane, and it was just such a weird emotion of fear just creeping into my stomach, and I could feel it every time I thought about the skydive, which was very interesting as well. The night before the jump, didn't sleep at all. Every time I tried to sleep, my mind would just think about jumping out the plane, how it's going to feel, the fact I'm doing it tomorrow for real, and it was just scary as hell. But yeah, anyway, on the day, once again, the drive down, I think it was about a 2-hour drive, nerve-wracking, but also excited as well. And then we get there, you start to obviously get the parachute on, get the gear, get everything on, and yeah, we ended up playing Jenga for a bit to kind of like calm the nerves. We get out to the place where we get the plane, we see the plane. The plane is absolutely tiny, it's literally big enough to fit 5 people at a squeeze. So there was myself, my jumper, there was Josh, there was his jumper, and then we had the camera guy that was filming the thing for me as well. We were literally all squished in, like our knees were like literally so cramped in, we couldn't really fit any more people. It was just such an interesting thing, because it was a windy day, and as we're taking off, you're just looking at the back of the plane, and all I can see is the back of the plane just going like in the wind. It was very wild. And then it was a bit sketchy, kind of like taking off, because I'm like, how's this gonna get to 14,000 feet? Anyway, we did. And then I managed to calm myself enough to still be nervous, but like I'm still pretty calm on the plane. And you start to enjoy the view, you start to look out the plane, etc. And then when it really hit me is when the side door comes up. It comes up, you start to edge, because I was jumping first. We started to edge towards the platform. My legs are dangling off, and then as soon as your legs start to dangle off, they just end up blowing in the wind. You realise what you're about to do, and you see the view, and it just really hits you hard. And then didn't count to 3 or anything. We just end up jumping, and for the first 5 seconds, it gets me so hard in my stomach. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just, it was a big fear of mine, because I'm not afraid of heights, but heights of that altitude, jumping out of a plane, that's a fear of mine for sure, or at least it was. And for the first 5 seconds, it was the scariest experience of my life. Like, you're falling towards Earth, and you're seeing the floor, and you're traveling at 140 mile an hour. It's a mad experience. And yeah, just the sights that you're seeing, it's unbelievable. But then after about 5 seconds in, you start to realize, why am I afraid? Like, almost becomes like a very blissful experience. So you go from very fear to then into like almost like a bit of a peace mentality. But at the same time, my goggles feel like they're full of water. Your cheeks are going back, because it's just the wind is insane on the cheeks. You can feel it. I was trying to open my mouth and shout words out, but there's so much air going in your mouth, you just have to close your mouth and just enjoy it. Then the parachute comes out. Mine ends up like tangling a little bit as well. If you see it on the video, it takes a little while for mine to come out, and I think the wind just then corrected it and pushed it back into its origin of what it's supposed to do. And then as the parachute comes out, you kind of have like a bit of a secure feeling in your stomach. You realize you're going to get down probably safely. It gives you the controls of like to control the parachute, so you start playing around with it. That's pretty cool as well. But as we're coming down to the beach, the wind catches us on the wrong way, almost blows us to the ground, and you've got to be careful. You can't come in too quick, because you can easily break your tailbone, which has happened with quite a few people. Anyway, the wind catches us on the forefront. We end up blowing towards the beach, and then as I'm coming into land, we come in really fast, and then there's people on the beach running towards us to kind of help us up in case we needed it. Luckily, my guy has had tons of experience, so it was fine. He landed it perfectly, and it was such a soft landing, but yeah, unbelievable. And then yeah, me and Josh were just talking. We were like, right, this is a one-time experience, I wouldn't do this again. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what, I'd actually do it again if it was in a great location. If it was like, let's say I went to like the Mediterranean or somewhere, it was a beautiful scenery, I'd do it again there for sure. I don't know whether I'd do it in the UK, but anyway, wild experience. It's good to conquer that fear, but yeah, it's just hard to describe as well. But yeah, beautiful experience.
Miracles collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight.
Straight to my skydive.
Go find this view. Unbelievable.
Dripping lights paint the skies. Only you can make me move. You can make me
So when it comes to the structure of the day today out here, it's very different from the UK, and I've had a couple of questions, so I want to touch on like what my current structure is, how I'm dealing with planning the travel stuff around trading. So current structure is usually wake up around 7, go for a morning dip, which takes 10-15 minutes, get back, have breakfast, do my markups for the day. So this is where I'm planning potential trades. Now remember, at this point, Asia session hasn't even opened yet. London Open and New York are much further into the day, and this is where I'm kind of getting a gauge on what could potentially develop that day, whether it's in Asia, whether it's in London, etc. So I'm planning all that, getting ready for the day, sending that out to members. Once that's boxed off, then I'm hitting the gym. So going to the gym 5 days a week, getting that out of the way, and then that's when the exploring starts. So if we have a day where, like yesterday, we went to Rottnest Island, you know, go and do that, go and explore, go and have fun with the entire day. I'm prepared, I know what I'm looking at. And then when I get back later on, the London Open starts at 4 p.m. here, which is pretty perfect timing. And then New York Open starts at 9 p.m, which is a lot later. So I'm kind of adjusting my schedule to go to bed later in the evening. So sometimes I'm going 11. Last night I went at 12 because I was watching a potential Eurodollar short entry. And then I'm getting up a lot later, so I'm getting up at 7 around that time, which is ideal for me. And yeah, that's pretty much how I'm really doing it. Not all days I've been trading, so for example, if I've got a full day planned out, I'll kind of just enjoy the full day out, and if we come back for New York, we come back for New York. Usually we go anyway, but sometimes I will miss London. But yeah, been performing really well, had a really good January. I'm not sure what the exact percentages are, but I think I'm sat around 7 or 8%. So it's been an amazing January, and I think it's just a relaxation of being out here. I've not got the same stresses. I don't think I'm not fully focused on doing so many different things throughout the day. I'm very diligent when I'm scheduled back home, whereas here it's just a lot more relaxed. I've kind of laid off the structure a little bit, but keeping the fundamentals in place. I'm just enjoying the experience really. So yeah, January's been good. Keen to see how February goes as well. We have a lot of opportunity shaping up, so keen to dig into it. And overall for the year, seeing so much potential this year from a structural point of view, and just overall where I am within my journey as well. Game plan this year is just to continue stacking with prop firms as well, continue getting payouts, funnel that into personal capital, continue that cycle. And then also a big thing for me is Darwin X as well, just to really diversify from prop firms, personal capital, Darwin X. Yeah, build that track record at the same time. It's just a win-win. And overall Darwin X as well, it's such a solid platform, attracting investors over the long period of time. This is the professional side of the game, so really want to funnel things into that. Really want to kind of like do that properly as well. Been doing that for a little while now, in profit, which is good. Just need to continue steadily building it. So yeah, overall really positive, and I'll show you some of the behind the scenes of Darwin X as well, so we'll take a look at that now. Right, so I just wanted to show you the back end of the Darwin X dashboard. So this is my current profile. I'm being very selective with the trades that I take on. I'm not taking every trade that I normally take on this account. I'm just picking and choosing based on set criteria. So that's the best way to describe it. So very low risk. I'm in the profit a little bit. It was a lot higher in the profit, so I did get to around 1%. But overall, remember, it's lower risk, so it's cumulative depending on the risk as well. So overall, happy with the way things are going right now. As you can see, trading days, I've done 90% of them. Risk calibration, this is just calculating how I manage risk, etc. Which so far has been pretty good. Max drawdown, -1, absolutely solid, nothing to worry about there. And then the range return as well, we did go up to 1%. So yeah, happy with everything so far. Just need to continue on the path that I'm doing, building that buffer. And I'm glad that I'm being selective with the trades that I take. So I don't want to be taking every single trade on this account. It's just set trades that I do want to be taking based on certain criteria. Once my trading days are up and I've maxed out on the trading days, done the risk calibration, and that's when the dashboard will open up as well, give me more stats. I'll be able to tap into a lot more of the strategy analysis, assets and time frame, return risk. I'll be able to fine tune things even more if I want to. So once again, if you hover over these, you can see available when the calibration stage is over. It's almost done. We just need to continue on the path that we're doing. So yeah, happy with the way things are going. Just need to continue on this path now. But if you haven't already, highly recommend this as a great diversification model for 2024. Link in the description. Right, so I just want to take you through this euro-dollar short position that I was eyeing up yesterday. And as you can see, the narrative was absolutely spot on. Price is still moving into Asia and now into London, with the likelihood of this low at 1.07960 being taken out potentially in London or even New York. So overall the narrative was spot on, but I want to take you through the trade itself, because this for me was a position that I was going to take, but I'll explain the reason why in a minute. So overall, from a daily perspective, I was very well aware that price has been slowing down coming into this area, so I was anticipating at least a reaction from this area, which we have had. But to support bearish prices, because this is just an area that we have mapped out, right? It doesn't have to respect it. It has respected it, but once again, it doesn't have to move to the upside from a longer term standpoint. If we drop to the 1 hour, overall from a actually let's go to the 4 hour, because I used the 4 hour area. Overall, we can see that bearish order flow is very much in continuation here. Price forming lower lows, lower highs, new lower low. Price came up. Now upon market open, as a lot of you would have seen, we had this gap in price. So once again, this acts as, you could call it fair value gap, inefficiency, whatever you want to call it. Price is going to want to gravitate towards this. So this is supporting the overall narrative. We had that corrective pullback, filled the gap, tapped into this 4 hour area, which was absolutely beautiful. And then 1 hour as well, just start to slow down, tapping into this area. We dropped to the 15-minute. Now overall, we had Asia session that was swept in Frankfurt, London continuation to the upside, but then the back end of New York, we started to drop to the downside, really start to show intent for lower prices. And then this is when I was eyeing up the potential entry. So I was eyeing up this entry, and it was once again absolutely perfect. Drop down, corrected pullback, build up a liquidity. This was perfect, but this was 17:10, so it's 5 UK time. Now this for me was around about 1 a.m. So I didn't stay up this late. I stayed up till about just before 12 before I went to bed. But overall, this was kind of like, it's one of those things, it's on time zone, right? So in the UK, I would have taken this. It would have resulted in a break even because we had that drop down. Price failed to break this low, so I would have removed this the risk. Price came up, hovered around swap hours, and then eventually did plummet for lower prices, which we have now seen. So overall, the lesson here is, you got to stick to the plan. You got to stick to your own strat, because even if I did take this, I wouldn't be overthinking it of, oh, I moved to break even, took a break even here, and then price dropped. You can't be saying things like that to yourself, because you've got to be trusting yourself. You've got to be trusting your edge, your data. That's the most important things here. So regardless of the result of that, had I taken it, overall, phenomenal trade, and I would take the same trade over and over again. So January's been a solid start to the year. Plenty of good trades taken. Now just easing into Feb, looking forward to the opportunities that are going to be presented to us. So just taking things slow, steady, patience once again, just focused on high quality trading. Overall, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.